Hello everybody and welcome. Today we're diving into the top 10 countries that, according to recent surveys, have the most negative views of the United States right now. International relations are like a global family dinner. Everyone has opinions, and some are, hey America, maybe stop doing everything? But this isn't just about politics. We're looking at what it actually feels like to be an American traveler in places where the welcome mat isn't exactly out. How does a nation's view of US policy translate to you, the tourist? Sometimes it's awkward, sometimes it's eye-opening. If you care about understanding the world's complexities, hit subscribe. Now let's get into it. Who's first on the list of countries that might not like our latest Instagram post? Number 10 is Syria, a country devastated by civil war and foreign intervention, with the US right in the middle. American involvement, backing rebels, airstrikes, and shifting alliances, has left a legacy of mistrust and resentment. For many Syrians, the US isn't a liberator, it's a foreign power that prolonged their suffering. Imagine someone fixing your house by knocking down the walls and leaving you in the rubble. Traveling to Syria is extremely dangerous, but if you could, you'd find that the American flag on your passport carries a heavy weight. Years of conflict have blurred the line between anger at a government and at its people. The negative view isn't personal, it's a scar from a decade of war and foreign policy decisions. For Syrians, America's impact is not abstract, it's lived reality. Empathy, not defensiveness, is key to understanding this resentment. The dislike is a reminder that decisions made far away can have life or death consequences. In Syria, forgiveness is a very big ask. Number 9 is Cuba, where the US embargo has defined relations for over 60 years. The embargo is blamed for shortages, crumbling infrastructure, and economic hardship. It's the go-to scapegoat for almost everything. For Cubans, it feels like a superpower trying to strangle their small island into submission. As an American traveler, you'll find warmth and curiosity. Cubans are experts at separating people from politics. They love American culture, have family in Miami, and might chat about your favorite TV show. But beneath the hospitality, the effects of US policy are undeniable. You represent the country that makes life harder for them, even if you're just there for the music and the mojitos. It's a strange duality, friendly faces but a heavy political shadow. The brief thaw under Obama showed hope, but old tensions quickly returned. As a visitor, you're a symbol of a long-running family feud. They may welcome you, but the elephant, the embargo, is always in the room. It's not open hostility but a deep, weary sadness. In Cuba, history is always part of the conversation. Number 8 is Palestine, where US support for Israel shapes everything. For Palestinians, America isn't a neutral mediator. It's seen as Israel's unwavering backer. Billions in military aid, UN vetoes, and the embassy move to Jerusalem are viewed as betrayals. The American flag is often a symbol of oppression, not freedom. As a traveler, you'll walk into a place where politics is the air people breathe. You might face tough questions about US policy. These come from lived pain, not idle curiosity. Here, politics isn't a hobby, it's survival. Humility and a willingness to listen are essential. The dislike isn't personal, it's a reaction to a geopolitical reality that's left people feeling abandoned. In Palestine, America is not an abstract idea, it's a daily presence. Number 7 is China, where the US is seen as both a rival and a cultural influence. The relationship has shifted from economic partnership to all-out competition, technology, military, global influence. Chinese media paints America as a declining empire trying to hold China back. In big cities, you'll see American brands everywhere and many young people admire US culture. But nationalism is rising and suspicion of America is growing, especially outside major hubs. You might encounter debates or defensiveness about government policies. The rivalry rarely turns into personal hostility, but you're seen through a lens of competition. Chinese hospitality is real, but so is pride in their country's progress. Criticism of China from Americans can be a touchy subject. You're visiting your number one rival, so tread thoughtfully. It's a fascinating, sometimes awkward dynamic. Number 6 is Turkey, a NATO ally with a love-hate relationship with the US. Disagreements over Kurdish groups, Russian missile systems, and coup accusations have soured relations. Turkish media often pushes a narrative of American betrayal and interference. Polls show Turks have some of the most unfavorable views of the US and NATO. As a traveler, you'll experience legendary Turkish hospitality, but political debates are common and can get heated. Many Turks see the US as unreliable and disrespectful. The tension isn't usually personal, but it's a national mood you can't ignore. Enjoy the kebab, but be ready for a side of geopolitics. The relationship is complicated and so are the conversations. In Turkey, you're both a guest and a symbol of a fraught alliance. Number 5 is Pakistan, where mistrust of the US runs deep. The alliance has always been transactional, aid in exchange for cooperation, but with constant suspicion. Many Americans see Pakistan as duplicitous. Many Pakistanis see the US as self-interested and unreliable. Drone strikes, the Bin Laden raid, and shifting alliances have fueled resentment. Pakistanis feel they've paid a huge price for America's wars, only to be scapegoated. Anti-American sentiment is common in media and politics. As a traveler, you'll find incredible hospitality, but the political undercurrents are strong. You might be asked tough questions about US actions. These are tied to real grievances. The mistrust isn't just history. It's a living, complicated reality. In Pakistan, you're stepping into a story of mutual suspicion. Number 4 is Venezuela, where the US is cast as the villain in a story of economic collapse. The government blames American sanctions for shortages and suffering, using anti-US rhetoric to deflect from its own failures. The result? Deep, state-sponsored anti-Americanism. The country is in crisis, hyperinflation, shortages, and mass migration. For travelers, Venezuela is dangerous and difficult to visit. The population is polarized, some blame their government, others blame the US. If you're American, you might be seen as a symbol of hope or as the face of the imperialist enemy. The dislike is not abstract, it's tied to daily survival. US policy is easily spun as a war against the people, not just the regime. In Venezuela, politics is personal and urgent. Number 3 is Russia, where US-Russia relations have frozen over into a new Cold War. Russian media frames the US and NATO as aggressors, blaming them for everything from Ukraine to color revolutions. The war in Ukraine is cast as a defensive move against Western encroachment. State propaganda has fueled a powerful sense of patriotism and anti-Americanism. As a traveler, you'd enter a country where the US is the official adversary. Many Russians can separate people from politics, but the state-sponsored animosity is real. You're seen as a citizen of the country, sanctioning their economy and arming their enemies. Open hostility is rare, but the political climate is inescapable. It's a return to them versus us, and you're on the them side. Old rivalries have been reignited and you're caught in the middle. Number 2 is North Korea, where anti-Americanism is a state religion. For over 70 years, the regime has built its legitimacy on the narrative of struggle against US imperialists. Propaganda paints Americans as monsters. The Korean War is taught as a heroic victory over brutal invaders. The US is blamed for every hardship, and hatred of America is the glue that holds the regime together. American citizens are currently banned from visiting, but even when allowed, travel was tightly controlled and filled with anti-US messaging. Most North Koreans have never met an American, so personal reactions can be more curious than hostile. The official dislike is total and absolute, a manufactured hatred perfected over generations. The regime needs an enemy, and America is it. In North Korea, anti-Americanism isn't just policy, it's identity. It's the most intense, state-mandated animosity in the world. Number 1 is Iran, where anti-Americanism is central to the post-revolutionary government's identity. The roots go back to the 1953 CIA-backed coup and the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Since then, it's been a cycle of sanctions, proxy conflicts, and mutual demonization. Death to America is a government slogan, and US sanctions are blamed for economic struggles. But here's the twist. The Iranian people are famously warm and often pro-American. There's a huge disconnect between the hardline government and the general public, especially among the young and educated. Many Iranians admire American culture and are frustrated with their own leaders. As a traveler, you'll likely be met with hospitality and curiosity, not hostility. "We love Americans, it's our governments that have the problem," is a common refrain. Iran is the ultimate example of separating people from politics. But at the official level, the animosity is deep, entrenched, and enduring. And there you have it, the world's top 10 countries with the most negative views of America. A passport is more than a travel document, it's a symbol of history and policy you carry everywhere. But people often look past politics to see the person, not just the passport. Human connection can break through even the toughest rhetoric. Have you traveled to any of these countries? Share your stories in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more journeys into the world's complexities. Travel safe and stay curious.